Genuinely, I just think Manchester United players just enjoy the chaos. If there's two roads, one's a nice straight road, simple, second gear, cruise control, enjoy yourself. The other one, up and down, traversing, bridges, gaps, holes. Take you twice as long, be twice as hard. I saw that, I'm going down that route. That was Manchester United against Sheffield United tonight. That first half, dominant. One mistake from Onana, we concede. We get the equaliser. Nah, never mind, concede a cutback. Why not? But from then on, Manchester United, we won the game. And I'm going to roll my sleeves up for this one because it feels like I have had to defend Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United fans so often. And I will defend Bruno to the bitter end. He was fantastic tonight. Not just the penalty, not just that goal, not just the assist for Hojlund's goal, but just Bruno. I think that's 9 goals and assists in his last 5 appearances. And we've been gash. Bruno is 100% a world-class individual. And if this Manchester United team is built around him and Mainu in midfield and finding that perfect athletic profile midfield partner to fill that gap, which Christian Eriksen couldn't do, can't do, Casemiro can't do, Scott McTominay can't do. We have nobody in the squad who complements those two. We need to find that, and that can be our midfield. I'm sure of it. Bruno was the difference maker tonight. That first half, I'll get into it a little bit later. We had all the control, all the possession. We created chances. We weren't scoring. But Bruno there stepping up, cracking penalty. And that second goal, Bruno from outside the box. Bueno. I love Bruno Fernandes. I've always found it very strange how much I've had to defend him to United fans. Guy's elite. He really, really is. And that was a game where, let's be honest, right? When that first half ended, mega frustration. You know, there was whispers and murmurs that Wilcox had pulled Ten Hag to the side and said, well, maybe not pulled him to the side, but just said, look, you've got to shift your style of play. This is how we want to play. And United shifted the style of play in the first half. I'm not going to say that's down to Wilcox. I think for him to come in and 4 days later tell Ten Hag, now completely switch the play you've played this season. I want to see something different. Seems a bit strange. May well have had a conversation, said that this is the direction we're heading towards. And if you watch Manchester United in that first half, we haven't seen that often this season. Sheffield United, let's be honest, they're one of the worst teams you've ever seen in the Premier League. Ever. And we were behind to them twice. But that first half, we had the control, we had the possession, we were creating chances through sustained periods of possession, recycling the ball left to right, creating chances, crafting chances, rather than a Hail Mary ball over the top. Is that down to Wilcox? I don't really care, because I don't think it is. But ultimately, we came up short. And I'll get into that a little bit later in the show. But Rasmus Hojlund getting on the score sheet, again, we needed that. He needed that. And it was completely created by Bruno. 2 goals and an assist. Easy man of the match. And let's be honest, there was a fair amount of quality from United in that half, but a lot that left something to be desired. But I want to take a moment here to congratulate Ethan Wheatley. Became Manchester United's 250th academy player to make his debut for the club. Erik Ten Hag smiling as he put him on. Last night, he scored 2 goals as Manchester United's under-18s won the Premier Cup. He has developed a lot in these last 3 months. Honestly, if you had asked me a few months ago which under-18 striker is going to get a debut before the end of the season, I would have said Bianchetti. But now, Wheatley has stepped up. Looked happy. I thought they were right there. I was cheering like a dad when Bruno passed that ball across to him. Didn't get the goal. Didn't really matter. But can we just take a minute just to... Anybody checked on Jurgen? No, don't care. Really, really don't care. Now, that is not a game which... Look, if we had lost that game, it's almost a sackable offence in isolation, losing to that Sheffield United team. But United, we did it the hard way. Like we've done it all season. And it felt like, for me, in that first half, right, we had chances. People are going to be jumping on Onana for that mistake. I call that like an occupational hazard for Onana. Those are the mistakes I expected him to make, not the crazy ones in the Champions League. He passed it to Dalot. Dalot was stepping forward. They were caught between 2 minds. Short ball, punished for it. That's what happens when you're a goalkeeper. You make a mistake like that, they're probably going to concede. But in that first half, Garnacho had 2 absolute blinding chances. And you know what I think about Garnacho? I think he's looking like a 19-year-old who's started how many consecutive games? I don't know if he was rested, but he started like 32, 33, 34, and I don't even know how many. That's kind of what he strikes me as now. But with Rashford bang out of form and now injured, Anthony being Anthony. Ahmad, I think that game actually suited Ahmad more from the start, if I'm being completely honest, because of how much possession we had. But the game should have been done in the first half. And if it was, people would have been hailing how Manchester United play, because it was the patient build-up. It wasn't the chaotic NBA-style front to back. And we were just building chances through sustained possession. And maybe that is exactly what Ineos and Wilcox wants to see. And if I'm being honest, I think if we had Martinez in there in the first half, we had a better midfielder, which we don't have in the squad right now, then it would work better. And I want to give a lot of credit, by the way, to Harry Maguire. You know full well, I don't think there's a player that I've criticised more than Harry Maguire over these last couple of years. He really has come through this season. With all the injuries that we've had, the availability has come back. He's had his injuries himself, sure. That's 2 headed goals in 2 games from Maguire, and we've waited a long time to say that. But just Maguire has been one of the performers this season where we haven't had that many, and certainly from a defensive perspective. So all credit to him for coming through, the resilience that he has shown, the mental fortitude. Look, as I said, I criticised him more than any, and I did that because he was Manchester United captain. Taking that armband away from him was definitely the right move by Erik ten Hag, and he should never have got the armband in the first place. I'll tell you one thing, I'm looking at Christian Eriksen, I'm going, I hate Andy Carroll. He's never been the same player since Andy Carroll forced his 200-kilo frame all down on Eriksen's knee. He just really hasn't been the same player. We need another midfielder in there, as I said, to complement Bruno, to complement Mainu. That wasn't the chaotic end-to-end game that we've become accustomed to see from Manchester United this season. But we were behind twice to Sheffield United, who were bottom of the league at Old Trafford. And we ended up winning the game 4-2 with 2 late goals. So, yeah, it was chaotic in a different sort of way. These games now, between now and the end of the season, is it Erik ten Hag on trial? I think Erik ten Hag's been an interim manager since January. And in that respect, there's been an absolute shit ton of failures. But let's see. We've got Burnley next. Then I think we've got... Who have we got after that? Is it Crystal Palace I think we've got? We've got Arsenal and we've got Brighton. I might have missed a game in between there. And of course the FA Cup at the end of the season. That game there, had he lost it, could have been curtains for Erik ten Hag, for a lot of fans. We won it. That doesn't change anything really. You have to be beating Sheffield United. But we did. And we did largely because of this man. A man who I said at the start and I will say at the end, I will defend to the bitter end. I love Bruno Fernandes. The best player that we have signed post-Fergie. And I just hope we build a team good enough to challenge for the Premier League before he gets too old. I'd love to see him do that as United captain. 4-2. 3 points. I think Newcastle lost as well. I'll take that.